What up, my allies, theys, and gays? We're back. It's the Lesbian Lounge, and today we have a special guest, Oliver. Oliver is taking the place of Holly, but today you get to hear about my journey and how we have completely reclaimed our power and started doing stuff that we did not do before because it was the fear of the failures of what happened in the past. And it's really uncomfortable to go back to the things that remind you of those failures. And that's why we don't do anything about it and we stay stuck in this cycle of like, well, I'm never going to do that. I failed at that. And it keeps us from doing the things that we want to try. But it's the fear of the unknown, the fear of the failures. And, you know, I was a former D1 athlete, played all the way up until I was 20. So starting at 10, no, actually 7, I think years old, 7 years old, maybe. I can't remember the exact date, but I remember that was when I first started soccer and I love the sport and it was literally everything for me. That was my whole identity. And then when I got this scholarship to play at Mizzou and ended up having 7 concussions, I had to retire and hang the cleats. It was really challenging because I didn't know who I was anymore. That was my identity for all these years. And in that time of being in college, there was this fitness test, and that's where we're going to kind of get into of how I started this new journey. And on the fitness test, it was a beep test, and if you're a soccer player, have heard about it. The beep test it's a mindset thing. You really have to be in the ability to push through when you start to get tired. Your legs start to get heavy. Yeah, everybody's legs get heavy, but it's really believing that you can do it. So as soon as you say, I can't do this, you have already failed. And so that's what would happen to me in my fitness test. And I also didn't have the best routine either leaning into that test the first go around. And it was very, very important going into the next time because if I didn't pass that test when we were getting ready to go to California one year, I wasn't going to be coming out to play soccer. I was going to be staying home in Missouri, staying back in Missouri, and not traveling with the team. So I had to fix everything. But that time that I failed my fitness test, it really hit me hard. And I had a conversation with somebody, and they were telling me when you walked out on the soccer field when you were in the club days, you knew you were the best player on the field. And maybe you weren't, but you walked out with this sense of confidence. And my confidence was knocked significantly when I failed that test in college. And that was freshman year. Because then I was not starting, I was not playing, my career wasn't as planned. It was this whole mental thing that I could not push past it. And then something shifted a little bit. I don't think I was the player that I was when I was in club days, and I can totally admit to that. And it was because the lack of confidence in myself. And what I needed to do in this time was really get my mind right, and it was never right in college. There were so many factors to it, but when I failed that test, it made it really difficult as I became an adult. I still kind of hold on to it I wish I could have done better. And I do think now today who I am and how I have trained this mindset and how I teach clients, I think I would be a much better player because I did the hard work and worked on myself and got clear of who I am and why I want to do the things. And that's where this new journey has began. So I stopped running, and I didn't really love running, if I'm being honest. I did not love it in college. I did 5Ks when I was a kid with my dad, and I remember him telling me that I got a 26 or something on one of my races. As a 10-year-old, I was like, okay, cool. And so when I was back in California this year in October, I stayed at my sister's house to watch her dog. And every time I go and stay with my sister, and when she comes back from her trips or we go do something, she teaches at Orange Theory, and we always do an Orange Theory class. And I always fucking hated it. It's not my style of training. I don't enjoy everything back to back to back. I'd rather lift weights intensely and with a heavier weight. And that one is more of the way that they have their classes. It's basically to get as tired as possible and exhausted as possible, push so much into it. And so I like to train in the gym of lifting heavy and getting that pump. So there's different styles, right? And with the Orange Theory, they have the running portion, and every single time my sister always put me at the fucking running piece at the end. And I was like, are you testing me? Because I think you are. But when I did it this time with her, we ran together because she wasn't teaching that class. It was somebody else that she wanted me to see coach. And they did a phenomenal job. They brought the fucking energy. Like when you have a coach that is so passionate and cares about the people that are around him, it makes it a lot more exciting for you to want to show up. And so those coaches that do a really great job in bringing that energy, those are why those people come back. And that's my goal for my clients, to keep that energy up and always that excitement when we have our group calls on Monday and Wednesday nights, even on Thursdays, and even on TikTok lives. Like, it's how I feel about the topics that I talk about. And that's why here today, I think this is going to be really helpful for you if you're trying to figure out, do I start this or can I start this? Hell yeah, you can. And when I did this run with her, I kept looking at hers and she kept looking at mine, and it was like that competition of like, yo, let's go faster. Hey, don't want that drop. Like, pick up your speed. And I love that my sister pushed me out of my comfort zone because she called me on my bullshit. And that's what's so great about having a person next to you to hold you accountable. And that's what's so powerful when you need that support in your journey. And that's why clients take that next step with me of like, I'm going to hold you to the standard because I know that you're capable of it. No one has held you accountable and pushed you out of your comfort zone. And that's exactly what I do for my clients here. And when we did the run, got done with it, I was like, dude, I'm like fucking toasted. Like every time I'm done with that class, I just feel like I got to take a nap and need all of the foods. So this is a very important part that people don't pay attention to. If you don't fuel your body for those kinds of classes or even afterwards, there's going to have a lot of effects for your recovery. And that's why it's very important to be prioritizing carbs. Carbs should be before as well as after, because remember, carbs is energy, as well as making sure that you have protein. So carbs and protein should be coming after your workout. But when you are refueling your body, refueling that tank, you need to be more intentional because you put out a lot more in that workout. So that was happening to me. I was like, I'm not used to this. And so I really had to pay attention to it. And I was like, all right, what carbs am I going to get? I'm going to load the fuck up. And I did. I got bunches of stuff of just carbs and enjoying that. So this was in October, and I had her shoes. And I do have a pair now that it's these Zoom X's. So I got these ones here. Going to be looking at a pair of customized ones, and I'm going to do eventually before the next race. But I got these shoes that she had. I was like, damn, Sid, like these things are fucking amazing. Like I feel like I can just run again, or whatever Forrest Gump says, like, I just felt like running. That is literally me. I was like, I just felt like running today. And so I put her shoes on even more so after that day of the class. And I was like, all right, I think I'm gonna go for a run today. And I did when I was out in California. I went for like a 10-minute jog, just like kind of getting the body moving. And I was like, I really kind of am digging this. And the shoes, there's something about our clothes. There's something about the way that we put certain things on and the way it makes us feel. That is how these shoes have made me feel, of like, okay, I can do this. It's the comfort. I'm feeling confident. I'm no longer allowing my past failures define my journey or who I am today, because I'm not that person 10, 15 years ago. Being 32, I feel like I'm in the best headspace I've ever been, leaving education, as well as prioritizing myself with the deeper work. I got into therapy. I started cutting out alcohol. I started eating better. I did all of the things, but these things don't just happen overnight, right? And that's the problem for people, is like, I got to do this, this, and this, and this in order to become this, because this is how society views everything. And in reality, it's one small thing at a time. And I do think over the course, yeah, my sister, is a huge influence on this running thing, because she has done her own journey and how she's gotten better at it. And then, for me, the shoes, but also is like, I'm ready to get uncomfortable. I tell my clients all the time to go do the damn thing. So October 24th is the day that I was like, I'm going to go start this motherfucking journey. And now I am running. And that's what we're going to dive more into today, about like the things that I've done leading up to something I just did on Thanksgiving. And so the whole idea of like deciding to do this is because I'm not letting past failures and past things hold me back and stay stuck. And that's where I want you to stop. If you're like, I can't do this, I can't be that person. No, you can't be that person you were before in high school or in college, but you can become a better version when you get clear of why you are doing what you're doing. And that is the biggest piece that people don't realize when it comes to fitness. If you don't know your why, you are not going to show up. And for a long time, I lost my why being in education, of people telling me that I didn't belong, people telling me you're not good enough, people telling me my teaching, there was just so much noise. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know why I was in education, because I thought I was in education to help kids and not be like I was in school and to have a safe space. But everything started to like unfold and be like, yeah, this is really not for me. And so when I started to get more clear on this why and what I want to do, this running journey has a whole lot of things that I've like kind of just unraveled in a very positive way. And it's not everything for me because I still want to strength train. But running is like the clarity that I needed to help build my brand. So the Stronger Together, we have the Lesbian Lounge, we have the do the damn thing is another slogan that I say, but like the Les Grow. I want our community, queer people, but also our allies, like, you're allowed to take up space. You are welcome here and seen for exactly who you are. And so me showing up and doing uncomfortable things, but also creating this space for people to come in and feel empowered, to feel seen, to feel safe is the goal. And, the running thing has really just like added a whole nother, like when I'm running in this town of Ashland, I'm running with this pride on my shirt or my Lesbian Lounge one, because there might be some younger version of myself that needed to see that, like, hey, if she's out doing hard things or they are out doing hard things, so can I. And our community is not about prioritizing ourselves when it comes to fitness. And that's totally okay. But that's where I want to flip the motherfucking script. And I want to help people in our community to start seeing that they can do it, because I get you. I know the struggles when people don't see you for you or tell you, oh, I get it. I get your struggles. Now, straight people don't get our struggles. I cannot stand that when they say, I know what it's like. I'm like, do you? Because you really don't. You're a white male and you are privileged as fuck. And that's a lot of those conversations was like with men. I'm like, you don't get to sit here and tell me you know what it's like to have this and this and this happen. You don't, because most of the time shit is handed to you and people respect you right off the bat, or they're not even questioning your worth. And that's what was happening to me. And so when I'm wearing this, I'm like, this means more to just what it is to me, but also to people out there. Like, yeah, we're going to show up. We're going to take up motherfucking space. We're not shrinking anymore to fit in. We're showing up unapologetically because we love ourselves on a deeper level. So running again, damn, it feels good. And, as I continue to do this, over the course of the last couple months, we were leading into Thanksgiving, and, my birthday ended up being on Thanksgiving this year. And I was like, damn, that really sucks. Because when I was a kid, most people would forget, or was like, oh, yeah, happy birthday. And I'm like, cool, man. You fucking forgot. But it's fine. I was a kid. But this time around, I was doing something different. And leading into Thanksgiving, I was talking about it with people like, hey, I think I want to do a run. I think I want to do a race. And I hadn't done a race, since I was like 10 or 12. I can't remember the exact moment, but, I started to really decide, okay, I think I'm going to do this, and started talking about it. I was running every week at least 3 or 4 times. Saturdays were my speed days. I was doing all this stuff. I'm like, all right, I think I want to do it. And there was one that I know that happens every year, and it was in the town that we had our first home in. We were there for 4 years, and that's where my teaching career began too. And so when we officially decided I'm going to do a 5K, I actually was on a TikTok live, and I was talking about my story, and I'm always going to be open and honest about it, because, for eight years out of my teaching career, I had to be silent. I was never allowed to speak about what was going on or say my side when rumors were being fucking spread everywhere. Kids were asking questions. I just had to sit there, and I was told by my boss, you just need to, are you just going to take it? Can you just take it and not have anything to say? I'm like, okay, yep, sure. And the crazy thing is that if I was straight and if I was a white male or even just straight as a woman, maybe I would have been not treated the way I was. Who knows? But that's also my opinion, and that's also why I think it's so important for the queer community to hear that I did struggle. And I get if you've had that and it sucks, it really puts you down into a place where like you question your worth of do you belong and can you live this kind of life? Because if we're all being real here, like if we did not want to deal with the shit, do you really think that we would choose to be gay? No, it's not a choice. Okay, it's not a choice. When people say, "Oh, you chose that," man, I didn't choose hard for fucking every day. I did not. But it's fine. It's fine. Ignorance at the finest. So going back to TikTok Live and talking about the stories, I had asked some people on there one night. It was a later night live, and I was like, okay, guys, so there's this turkey trot coming up. I'm like really thinking about doing it because I want to, but also it's like there's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of like every time I go back to that town, I feel very anxious. I feel all of the anxiety of like the bad stuff. And there's a lot more bad than there's good, I feel like, because it was so toxic. And that's where I truly struggled and lost myself. I became very disconnected. And it was like, all right, do we do it? I'm going to need everybody on this live to tell me if I should do it, because I tell people all the time to go do the damn thing and show up unapologetically. So would you do the race? And it was a 5K. And I had, again, like I haven't ran in forever in an actual race. But to go back to a place that caused so much, and then you add running into it, the mental piece that comes into it. And so they're like, yeah. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm doing it. And so I just like dove right into that mindset of like, you know what? I am no longer going to allow this place to hold something over me anymore, because I'm not that person. I never was that person. I didn't know who I was. I wasn't confident in myself. I wasn't all of the things. But now that I love myself and I've worked on the things that I needed to, and again, loving myself on a deeper level, that's when I'm like, I can do this. I absolutely can. And it's because I flipped the fucking triangle and started focusing on the mindset versus more workouts, more food. The foundation piece that everybody needs to focus on when it comes to fitness. Because there's a reason why we go backwards, right? Every single time we go backwards is because when something comes up that's hard and there's a tough day, we don't lean into it. Instead, we throw in the towel and we're like, well, it's just a lot easier to just like go have a glass of wine and sit on the couch versus actually going out for a walk. That's actually going to help with my mental health and get this off my mind. And whew, I decided we're going to get more clear on this. And we did exactly that. We talked about it every day leading up to it. So I kind of want to walk you through the journey of how I shifted into the right mindset and being prepared for this, not just physically, because in running, it's more mental than physical. Because there's people that I have seen on TikTok and they're bigger girls, they're bigger individuals. And I'm like, hell yeah, you can run the fucking race. It's here that is what is going to hold us back. And so I'm like, all right, this is what I need to do to be ready. Because I know when I go into that town, and literally every time this happens, when we would go visit, which became very less and less because it was like, it wasn't really enjoyable for me. And Holly knew that. And like I said, my chest would get really tight and all the bad memories would just like flutter in, or it was like, who are we going to see? What am I going to do? And really just started to lock in on the things. And when this week came up, like that week came up, the Monday before Thanksgiving, I already started setting the intention, but I was already already showing up in the runs leading into it. So this was just like that week, that 4 or 5 days right there, where I was like, okay, this is what I need to do. So on day one, on a Monday, I focused on visualizing myself running that race, just imagining like what it's going to feel like, how that starting beginning process of the race, like that first 800 meters where people are like, either you take off or you stay with the crowd. how is my breathing? How is my stride? All of the little details that when I was in college, I did that for my beep test to be able to pass too. And it was my routine that I fixed to be able to pass the next go around. And this is what I did in this race. But this one meant so much more to me. And I think it's because I wanted to prove you didn't get the best of me and you did not win. Because you did not. Those people in that town that talked so negative of me, and they did not break me, because I am much fucking stronger today, and now I'm getting the opportunity to help people in ways that I never thought possible, because again, I filled my cup. So on that, just visualizing and doing little things like my journal, talking about like, I am doing the damn thing, I am going to crush this race, like the affirmations in my journals is what I did. And then shifting into day 2, because again, every single day is picking one small consistent action. And I had told my sister, I texted her, I was like, you think I should make this like a whole like journey leading up to it? And she was like, yeah, you should, that'd be really cool. Like, what do you do? And I was like, all right. But actually, I forgot about this, guys. On Sunday, Saturday or Sunday, going into race week, I asked people on TikTok, I was like, all right, what does everybody eat before a race? Like, I need to get this figured out, because I struggled with it in college, and I had it happen on a run one time. I was like, oh my God, I got to get home because I'm about to fucking shit my pants. And I almost did. So that weekend, I bought the stuff that I needed. And so when I went out for the run that weekend leading into Thanksgiving, I got a Pop-Tart, which you're probably like, that's not a good source of carbs. It's a quick carb. And then Sour Patch Kids right before going into the race, as well as, well, that's what I practice, obviously, like before my run. And then a banana, and then just a little bit of water in the morning when I wake up. So those are my things that I had. Pop-Tart, banana, and the Sour Patch Kids. That was what I had going into it. I didn't want anything super heavy, but I wanted to make sure I had some energy going into my race, because remember, carbs is energy. We need carbs. Do not tell yourself, I don't need anything before I run. Yes, you do. There's a reason why when we don't fuel our body, we start to tank. Okay. So day 2 was really just, it was personal. It was more of like, okay, I'm going to get out for this run. I'm going to feel all the things with the weather. It was cold out. I need to get used to it. I need to get my body ready. And like, you know, I was feeling a little anxious because I'm a couple days away from my race, and I'm coming out of fucking retirement. I'm like, all right, I got to do this, this, and this. And I'm just like, I got to be just chill on this run, get the body moving. Okay. So that's what I did. Nice little run, but also some rolling out on my body. And I didn't do any crazy lifting before this either. I wanted to be very cautious of that, as much as I love to lift heavy, but being mindful of what I was doing in the gym as well. Some things that I did with like to just get my body right with exercises, with some hip flexor movements, because again, we want to be quick and fast from pulling from that hip when you're running. So I did some band exercises for that, some knee work as well with bands, foam rolling on that after that run. Again, getting the body right, but also getting the mind right. Day 3, shit, man. Day 3 was my fucking favorite, yo. It was literally the best until it wasn't. Let me tell you why. I told Holly, I was like, all right, babe, you know, mom sent us some money for our anniversary. Let's go treat ourselves because she's treating us. And I was like, hey, how does crumble cookie sound? I'd love to have crumble cookie before my race. And she's like, absolutely, but can I have this instead? I was like, yeah, fine, whatever. You do you, I'll do this one. So after I got off of the doggy daycare that I do part-time right now, we talk about going over there. And I drive over there, and Crumble Cookie really disappointed me. Crumble Cookie was not providing cookies. I'd never seen this in my life, and I haven't really been there that many times, but still. They did pies. You are not a pie place. You are a cookie place. So I didn't get anything from Crumble Cookie, so we went over to Nothing Bundt Cakes, and those are super moist cakes. So good. So I bought 2 different types, and Holly bought one. I bought a chocolate one with some white frosting. Amazing. And it had little chocolate chips in it. And then my one to celebrate on my birthday after the race was a confetti one. Oh my God. So good. And actually, Holly got a red velvet, and the red velvet slapped for sure. But the one thing that I hear is the kicker. When I was picking out my candles for my cake, on my little bundt cakes, I didn't pick the right age. And I don't know what I was doing, but I picked up 27, and I think it's because like the day of my birthday is 27 instead of picking up 32. So there's that. But the nothing bundt cakes, I will have again. I want to try crumble next time and see if they can pull through, but we'll see. So that was day 3, as well as some like mobility work, rolling out my hip flexors. I use a tennis ball to hit right in that hip point to help relieve some of that tension that I've had from sitting, or just kind of like not being mindful of like when you're standing and you like push your hips forward. So little things like that. Again, all of the little things. So race day, we're going off to Boonville, and I wake up at 5 a.m. I'm like, all right, I really got to make sure I give my body time to digest my food. Actually I forgot. On the night before, a carb loaded with some macaroni in the pot, mac and cheese. It was a high protein one, so that was tasty. But I also wanted to make sure that he is sleeping so good right now. I wanted to make sure I had enough food in me leading into that to have that energy. So when I woke up the next day, 5 a.m., I did all the things. I had all of my clothes laid out here, being very intentional, very demure. That's still a thing now. And making sure I had all that stuff. It's the little details that help you to be successful that we don't pay attention to. Okay. Every single thing that I did leading up to it was key to my success. And I'll get you there on that success in a minute here. When I had my shoes and clothes all out, I got my clothes on. I'm kind of like a person. I'm not superstitious where I have to put on one sock and then the other, or like my bra. Like, it don't matter. But what I did was like, I put on my first layer of clothes. I didn't put on my hoodie yet. I wore this one. I just put on my t-shirt and my thermal. So I put those on first, and then I sat down to journal. Went over to my mirror in the bathroom. I did my affirmations. That is one thing that I'm like, I'm going to fucking celebrate because I got this. I'm about to crush it. Mindset, guys. We're rewiring that brain and no longer allowing the past experiences to define us, okay? And so more and more we're getting up to the race. Holly's making her fucking palette. And this is the coolest thing about my wife that I absolutely adore. She is not about fitness, but she knows that it's so important to me nowadays. And how I have really become a better person, for myself, but also for our marriage. Like, leaving education was the best thing I could have ever done. I think that it just took for me to realize, like, you don't have to do that, and you can go do something else. But her support means the fucking world. So like when she told me she was gonna go, because I was like, I didn't really ask her because I was like, it's fucking 8 a.m. Also, like, it's just for you to stand there. Stand at the end of the race. And I was like, oh, okay. So when she told me she was coming, my whole world lit up because it like reminded me of that would have been so cool to have her see me play soccer. Because I was a badass in the high school days, club days. College, again, I lost that swagger, but it's fine. I gained it back. I think I'm gaining back some confidence that is much stronger in so many different ways than I thought possible. But it's because I started choosing me. So we went to the 7 Brew for her. I can't believe they were open on Thanksgiving, but we're going to get her 7 Brew. And before I did anything, after I finished my affirmations, I actually went to go roll out, did some like band exercises to get ready for the day. Rockafel was helping me out, getting me ready, getting me warm. He was cheering me on, sitting on the yoga mat. We were just like locking in. Holly's like still trying to get up, and so I'm like, all right, hey, we got to leave here shortly. And she loads up the car, y'all. I wish I could pull it up on my pictures for you guys, but the entire back seat of her car was just a solid pallet of blankets, and she brought the egg chair comforter thing. That's commitment to making a comfortable space, and that's what she did. So she's living her best life. We drive up, get her coffee, and go to meet my friend Kate, who Love that she is on her journey too. She's crushing it. She was gonna be pushing her kiddo in a stroller, and her sister was doing the same. Y'all, like, having kids doesn't stop you from pursuing your goals or anything. Like, she is living proof of that. So I love seeing that for her, because even we made the comment when we were walking into the YMCA. She's like, man, we've really changed from 8 years ago or 6 years ago when we lived. Like, she lived with us at a period of time. We have really changed, because on past Thanksgivings we would be waking up hungover as shit because we went out to Maggie's and we went out to these places, and we'd be paying for it. But today we're up and we're sober and we're feeling good and we're about to go run. I was like, yeah, who are we? But also, like, I love that, because those are the kinds of people that you want to be around when you are changing your life. When the people aren't like you or like minded, it makes it very tough for you to step into this better version. And so, her doing her own journey and then me doing my own, and then, like, us coexisting together on that day was really neat to be a part of, because she was already doing the race before. So, and she already told me that she has done some half marathons, and I was like, hell yes, I love that. But again, super proud of her and her sister for just showing up and doing the damn thing. And you know, that day of the race, I thought I was going to be all of the things, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to see this person. Oh my gosh, people are going to say this, or, all of the things that can possibly go into your head that kind of causes that anxiety. But instead, since I was so intentional the entire week, and that morning of, like, I'm rewiring my brain, and whatever happens, I'm not going to worry about, because I'm worried about myself and how I kill this race. I got there, and, like, I did not ever once did I, like, slowly shrink. I walked with so much confidence, so much pride, and, like, having this on my chest, and I'm like, fuck yeah, the big old gays here, and we back. And you're welcome for more gays coming out in this town now, because apparently people are coming out the woodworks, which we love. And this is the shit that really does piss me off when it comes to that town, is that, like, parents that I had any part of like getting their kid to be gay. It's not how it works. So when parents would ask me that or even say it, like, oh, you turned my kid gay. No, I did not. You are so ignorant. And I had a couple, and um I'm really glad that those kids I still have relationships with, and like, and I had asked them, I was like, did I have any piece in this? And they're like, no. I was like, cool. Well, glad to hear that. But being back there, I walked in with so much confidence. I did see one of the kids that I had, and I was like, I am not gonna let you beat me today. There's also a kid that decided to go snooping through our home, and this is when I was coaching, and I'm like, God, I remember you just, like, catching you opening the doors of our bedrooms and finding things that you shouldn't even be looking at, period. But I never said anything to the parents, never said anything to the boss at the time. And he was like, do you think it's your coaching that you're not so successful right now in these first two games? And I'm like, oh, I have so many things that I can say, but I'm going to bite my tongue because I know better, because I can't. So when I saw these people, I was like, oh man, I remember you. And, like, again, so much happiness for me, because I'm proud of who I am today. And that race felt really fucking good. And the kid that I ran with, they were a sophomore in high school. And what was really cool, because they could have said, like, nah, dude, I don't want to run with you. I just want to, like, take this easy. And we did it together. So running back into a town that caused a lot of trauma, but this is where I reclaimed my power and reconnected with myself. So no longer shrinking. We crushed this race, y'all, with a 28:05. And not me wearing this literally everywhere in the house the entire day. Like, I did that. I did that damn thing. I showed up when it was uncomfortable. I felt like just a huge weight is lifted off me. Like, getting started on a journey that I never thought I would do again, but also starting in a town that I let other failures keep me stuck for so long. And we'll tap into more of these failures of what happened in my career in teaching in the Save Seat sequel that will be coming soon. But some exciting news to let all the listeners know is that this race is just the beginning of more things to come. What I mean by that is we're going to have lesbian meetups in February. We have 2 now that we're going to be doing because yo girl is going to be going to Tampa, Florida to go do another fucking 5K. So excited. My dad and I had started doing yearly trips together, and he found out that he knew that I was on this running journey. I was like, it'd be really crazy. Instead of like going to a football game, how about we go do a race? And so he was like, well, maybe we can do that. How about you check out some stuff and let me know? So February 8th, 9th weekend is when I'll be doing the next 5K in Tampa. I'm going to get me another one of these. Who knows? And we'll also do a lesbian meetup there. We'll get more of the details of like the day before because I want to do my same routine that I did leading into the Boonville turkey trot. So again, routines are everything. Consistency is the name of the game, y'all. The other lesbian meetup that we have happening is February 20th weekend. So if you are a hardworking lesbian or you're an ally and you want to be around a queer, safe, inclusive space, we want you to come join us. We will have more information for that here shortly in the next couple days on our bio on the my Instagram and my TikTok, which can't remember what those ones are off the top of my head, but if you follow those, you'll be able to see the link in bio to join any of the events. And then, I appreciate everybody that has truly, truly supported me in this vision of what we're doing with this brand. The Lesbian Lounge is with my wife, and we have a lot of exciting things to be coming with it because, I feel like for us as a couple, we just want to truly be a empowering couple to other people or an individual to somebody else. To somebody else that needs this, to know that you're not alone in the process. And Oliver is finally waking up to tell you the same thing. But thank you to everybody that has supported me on this running journey, who has decided to tap into it. I've gotten some really great messages from people, and it's people like that send me a message like, hey, you're the reason that I just started to do the damn thing. Or I got like a new client that just joined and saying, I'm doing the damn thing. I'm no longer making excuses. And I'm like, that is so damn good. That is exactly why I do what I do today. It's teaching and coaching in a different way that I never thought possible. But it's because you have supported my dream, my vision, and we're just getting started. So we look forward to seeing you guys on our next episode. We'd love for you to make sure you send this to somebody else if they need to hear this message, as well as like and follow the Lesbian Lounge on YouTube and